Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Garage Studio Modelers. I'm Dave Forrest, and this is my good friend,
Harvey Lowe.
And in today's episode, we're going to continue on the build of the DasWork Panther G, the simplified Super Blitz kit, which I have to say, I continue to be impressed by. Yeah. I really do like it. I think it's one of those kits that has great bones.
Goes together. What's DasWork mean?
Well, DasWork is the who put it out.
What does it mean?
It means the work.
Oh, okay.
I guess
it doesn't mean work.
DasWork.
It means it's an easy build.
Not so much work. Yeah.
Because that you could do in what, a week?
What? Yeah, and so
you sit down.
Yeah, so I think people have been able to put this, like they've timed themselves. It's about 3 hours to build this if you just do it out of the box, right?
That's great.
So I'm taking a little bit more time because I'm adding some details to it.
Yeah.
So I guess the main point being that out of the it's a great kit that you can add a little bit of detail to get, I think, a more realistic finish without a ton of effort, because all the hard part is easy and doesn't really require any
and everything goes together well.
Everything goes together really well. Like really well. It's like a typical tack-on. I wouldn't say it's Tamiya-esque, but it's tack-on. Like it's the same. Well, doesn't really fight you.
We've talked about this before. Like all of us have. Well, I said all of us. Most of us probably have a huge stash. We're all getting older, not younger.
Yeah.
So I'm finding that I'm just building less for shows and contests, and I just want to build and have a good time. And this would be one of them, right? You could just, who cares? Like, not everybody enters shows, but you don't have to worry about adding this little, because you could be there for a year building a model.
Well, you could be, yeah. So
if you enjoy that, fine, but
yeah. So I'm not quite there yet because I still like building for shows.
Okay. Even though you always lose, but
well, yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you
actually you did well there last time at Heritage Con.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk here
after, but if you want to put a little bit of extra effort into it and add, and I'll talk about some of the things that I did that I think just kind of bring it up to the next level. It's very easy to do. So let's start with.
Okay.
So we talked when we did the kit review. I talked about the tracks because the I still have them here. I threw them away and they're still here. And my wife said, "Hey, you've got some tracks in the garage. You think you need those?" And I'm like, "No, they're terrible." So these are the ones that come with the kit.
Are the guide horns solid?
The guide horns are solid.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I mean, the detail is nice. And if you're gonna, so if you just want a quick build and put them on, and you're not too fussed about the guide horns, which again, some people say they existed, but I just haven't seen a picture of them.
Oh, existed as solid?
Yeah, I don't. I've never seen a picture. Like, the picture is, to me, that's the that kind of determines whether.
I think that means a lot for me if the guide horns are solid.
So but it's easy just to get a pair of or get a set of 3D tracks or even like you could put Fruels. You could put Fruels on here. Right. The nice thing is that the way the wheels are constructed, so these are just kind of dry fitted on, but if I take these off, like look.
Amazing.
Like how easy is that?
Do you have to clean them up?
Yeah, I mean there's attachment points. There's 2 on each wheel.
What about the is there any mold seams on the wheels?
Not bad. I knocked them. I mean there's a little bit of sand, but it's so simple. And when you put them on, like you don't see this middle piece because it's hidden by the outer road wheels.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
So you have a very solid base. So it can take. All I'm saying is that it can easily take the added weight of metal tracks.
Right.
Like if you want to put Fruels on here, because sometimes over time, some of the wheels they might bend because of the weight of the track. I guess it depends if they're.
And they're perfectly aligned.
They're perfect. Yeah.
So when you build this, like for the nationals, fit and finish, you're already there.
Yeah, exactly. And
why would you even bother building?
I'm not clamping these with 2 steel rulers like I did the Ming Pen.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy.
And it's true. If you build this for the Nats and you do it in like 1 minute, that you're in. But if you do all that fidgeting stuff, you're off by half a micromillimeter.
That could be what gets you. Again, if that's your thing.
I don't agree with those.
Yeah, it's a bit extreme. Like it should take the whole.
Yeah.
Let me put that aside.
Anyways, we've talked about that.
Yeah, we made that puppy to death. So out of the tools out of the box are fine, and they even have the hollow clamps.
Oh.
Like the clamp handles. Yeah. You can kind of see them on here.
But you didn't have to drill them out.
No. I just put them on like that. I did change. I usually change the extinguisher because I've got a bunch of resin ones, and the detail on the resin ones is just always going to be superior to what you have in plastic. But it's an easy replacement. I added some wood grain texture to the jack block.
How'd you do that?
Just with a razor saw. I just just kind of scraped it, and just to give it a little bit more. There's some there, but it's a bit. So I'll just enhance it, right? This is out of the box, so they give you cable. So I just got to cut it to size and put this is for, I guess, for the tracks replacement, right?
The total tracks.
And then this is out of the box. Everything here is out of. The only thing is I drilled out the holes that they're the tubes that hold the clevis. What is this? A clevis? Towing wedge? Whatever you call it. Clevis. I build out these.
Again, this is add-on?
No, that's out of the. So this is out of the box.
Okay.
And they give you a decent barrel that's slide molded, but I had a bunch of resin 3D, so I just put that on. That's from T-Rex. T-Rex makes great stuff.
But you could use the kit muzzle brake.
You could use the kit muzzle brake, but I had a bunch of these. So I said, why not? Let's throw these on. Under a coat of paint, do you really notice the difference?
No.
Unless it's obvious. I don't know. Maybe not. What else?
Comes with a mesh.
Comes with a photo etched mesh. Comes with a metal barrel. There's an anti-aircraft MG34 that you put on here, which is not bad out of the kit. Look, it looks a bit oversized, but I replaced the bow machine gun with a brass barrel. I'll do the same for the coaxial. What else? I just added, so the gray you see on here is, can you pass me your product there? Yeah. So Harvey put me onto this. So this is like the Mr. Surfacer, but the acrylic version. So this is kind of the newer range that Gunsy has, and I always looked at this stuff with disdain every time I pass it by in the shop. I was
you want the lacquer.
I want the smelly stuff because that's the best stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
But this is awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
stuff.
This is really good, and it cleans up with water.
Yeah.
And I use this to stipple on just a little bit of added texture. I don't know if it needs it. In fact, I'd probably say it probably doesn't. Maybe the turret mantlet might need it a bit, but it's great.
It is. I bought it by mistake. I bought it. I go, what the hell?
Like a happy accident.
Yeah. So I whipped at the wall, broke on the wall. It's all on the floor, and I go, oh, let's try it. And woo! Great.
That's probably did happen.
No, it's fantastic stuff. And it gives you more time to work with, right?
Yes, it does. It does a little bit, yeah.
Right. With the lacquer stuff, you put it on, it's drying pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
So you got to sand it a bit around the edge. This stuff, you actually, I'm using it on my Zero. You can just wipe it with your finger on the edge.
Or just a little bit of water or alcohol.
It's really good stuff.
I think this would clean, even if it dries a bit, this will probably clean up with alcohol.
It probably could.
Right, I haven't tried it. Like I know because you can do that with the lacquer version, actually. But so this is great stuff for exactly this, and just doing quick, seam line fills and whatnot that you can wipe off.
Well, it looks great. Did you do those weld things?
No.
Weld? Is there a weld in there?
There is, but that's from the kit.
Get out.
That's the kit. The only thing I enhance. So that's actually a good point. So I enhance the torch cuts on the attachment points on the turrets side.
And how did you do that?
Oh, I just soften it with glue and just take a sharp. Just cut, and then I did the same thing on the front. I added some weld seams, just using the 2-part Tamiya putty.
Yep.
Here and here. It's funny they have them underneath, but they don't have them on the top, and they don't have them. They don't have them on the back here. Right. Not that you see much because these stowage boxes kind of get in the way, but I put them in. What else?
Beautiful.
That's what I do. Oh, and then on the back, so they give you. So there's 2 types of lifting hooks on the back of a Panther. So there's one for the main engine deck, which is here. So they give you those lifting hooks as separate pieces, and they're decent. They're nice out of the box. And then they have these smaller ones for these outside panels that, pardon me, are molded solid. So like they're these little kind of
like a
protrusions that are solid, and I replaced them. So I had this set from T-Rex again that I picked up from the barrel store. Yeah, they're very small, but I use there's I think there's 3 sets. There's set A, B, and C. So I have all 3, but this is the one that you want for I think for the later set larger tanks, set A, and it's the middle hook, the middle piece. So there's well, I don't know. I mean, you can see here, but I use this middle piece. I just put them in, cut them off. Very easy to detach. I just with a very sharp cutter. I use the God hand one. Cut them. I didn't have to put this in warm water to soften it.
Right, which is the tip.
I tested it first to see the first one, and But definitely, if you're doing the anything that's more fragile, like the Sherman periscope guards, those are very fragile.
Right.
Just dip it in warm water, not boiling, but like warm to hot water.
And it helps.
Softens it a bit, and it's
Yeah.
just not as springy and brittle.
You know what I heard? I heard that you're not supposed to clean the. I might be wrong. 3D printed parts with like isopropyl. It's not good for. I don't know.
I've never tried. I don't.
I just put them on.
Yeah, I don't bother
cleaning them up.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna get
Yeah.
primed with the model. Yeah. So overall, so I just added the hooks, and then there's a few things I got left to do. I've got to finish the tools on this side, and I'm just cleaning them up and putting them on. I'm gonna replace. I've removed. There's kind of a molded on attachment point for the spare track brackets. I took that off. And I'm just going to put some 3D printed replacements on. Because everything comes as one piece in the kit, and it's got the solid guide horns, which...
Now back to this, you just applied it by brush, is that right?
Yeah, just stippled it on.
Yeah,
easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's a great stuff.
And it doesn't smell.
And it doesn't smell. And it cleans up with water. It's amazing. And I just got to put the little fenders they have on the side here. And I'm not going to put the skirts. I'm not going to do that on this one. I'm just going to leave them off. The other thing I did is that the chin, so they give you two mantlets. They give you one with the chin, the chin mantlet, which I used here, and one without. And they're both very nice. The chin has a very prominent weld seam that goes right across the middle, which I don't know. So I did some research and I looked at a bunch of pictures, and I couldn't find one that distinctly showed the weld seam. But I've heard from other sources, respectable sources, that it does exist on some. But I looked at a bunch of pictures.
Where's the weld seam?
It's like right through the middle.
Oh, through the middle.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So I just took it off because I didn't see any photographic evidence of that. So again, just do your research, and I don't have a picture of the particular one I'm doing. It'll be a variation of this. It's one of the markings in the box, but the one that has the exact type of camo, but with the chin mantlet. I couldn't find any pictures of that specific vehicle.
Yeah.
But I just looked at at a representative sample of chin mantlets, and I didn't see it. Right. So, or
if you're wrong, you're screwed, because the judges will know.
Well, yeah, they have to know. Well, I did my research, right? So you do your research, and maybe you throw, if you're worried about that, you throw in a few pictures, right? Yeah. Without identifying the specific vehicle, but just show a close up of the mantlet, and it just doesn't. I don't see it.
I did my research on the chin. He's a mafia also guy. The Chin Gigante. He was killed by some mafia's guys in a hit. So I did my research on the chin. Oh, you're talking about the model.
Different chin.
Different to chin. Okay.
I tell you.
All right. So back to the model. No problems. Oh, by the way, when I find that I'm building a model and you want proper alignment, like I'll put a finger here and I'll rocket it back so that it's not moving a bit. Then you know that it's sitting properly. But I don't think this kit needs it.
No.
Yeah, it's just
it's a shortcut. Everything's molded in. It's fixed. So if you want to manipulate your wheels and it's not.
Well, that's the only limitation. We talked about that in the last episode. You can't have it going over rough ground or a guy changing the wheel.
Exactly, but there's lots of other kits out there where you can. Right. So, and the other thing they give you is a nice, even though it's not called out. So what TACOM doesn't do a great job of telling you specifically, like if there's optional parts, how do those optional parts relate to the markings that they give you?
Right.
So you got to figure that out. So they give you a nice IR box that was fitted on some Panthers, which looks a little bit different than this.
Yep.
Which is great because I'm going to use that on the Dragon Panther that I'm kind of co-building with this, which has the markings. I do have an IR box on the back, so there's a few extra goodies in here that you may not eat. That's one of them, and then they give you these exhaust stacks. Funny, the exhaust stacks were hollow here. Oops, the other way this came out. Were hollow here, and I just shoved I had a bunch of extra epoxy putty that I shoved in, and just molded it flat and just finished it off with some.
Oh, I see. It wasn't supposed to be hollow.
No, it wasn't supposed to.
Got it.
And there's a bit of a feature here. Like Dragon does it nicely. So the Dragon kit has a nice detail here. This is just kind of, but again, you're not gonna see it, and it's not that prominent.
I'm looking at this piece. It's very sturdy.
Well, yeah,
it's incredibly strong and sturdy. Yeah. So you got the proper alignment.
Yeah, it's easy. And so again, it'll support. Like this will easily do a good job of supporting.
Do you realize by cutting it off the tree, sanding it, and putting it together, maybe 1 minute, if less?
Well,
like
Yeah.
like this piece,
Yeah.
and then putting it on,
It's
as
easy.
opposed to individual wheels.
And then you can leave it off the model and paint this. So I'm going to paint these separate off the model. So I've glued these inner ones on.
Yeah, I can't see them.
Right. But I'm going to paint everything else off. I'm going to paint these guys off and the outer road wheels off, and then put them on.
Yeah, I took your advice, so I'm doing the SD KFZ 8-ton by Dragon.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
it
good.
is,
That's looking really
it's,
nice.
yeah, and
that's
that
really nice.
you're right. It's easier to glue them first. To get
Sometimes.
the this one was.
Yeah.
Because I used to do them separately. This drive me nuts.
Like if it's very futzy.
It's-
Like
yes.
if I had the individual road wheel, I don't know.
no, yeah.
I would think I might just do everything in situ.
And you know what? I learn every day. So you said just airbrush it on. Like I'll paint it black and then airbrush it. You don't have to worry. By the time you put the
Yeah,
dusting
it doesn't
on,
matter.
you can still see
Like
the rims.
you don't need
You don't
like
need
the
it.
masks.
You don't
or they
need
go
it.
through the whole. Like,
No offense to the guys that make the masks,
no,
but
you know,
that's a lot of time
Yeah.
doing wheels.
that you're not gonna. It's one of those easy shortcuts that really don't
Yeah.
compromise anything on the. On the
I'm
back
looking
end.
at my half track and I go, wow, it's worked.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I when I picked this up, but I was at a local hobby store.
You can see these. Yeah.
You know, the owner was saying, you know, he had a bunch of these and they just weren't selling. And again, I don't know why. Like I don't know if the fact that it's a simplified build just turns some people off, but it's got great bones.
Sure.
And you can add a bunch of
It's fast.
the cleaning rod here. I'm probably going to use a 3D printed piece for because it's just nicer. You know, I talked about the spare track holders. I'm going to do 3D print there and use these tracks are gorgeous. Like
Are
the
they?
3D print, like they're just
How much were they?
they're about
Canadian-
50
50 Canadian?
So I don't know what that is. That's like
American?
2 American nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that is, but
Nice.
yeah. So it's
Now,
really,
what
it's a really
did
nice
you
kit.
glue these on? Super glue? How do you glue those
Yeah,
tiny?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
A
really
little bit of super glue.
finesse.
Yeah. So it just adds a little bit to it, but it doesn't need much. I got to put the tow cables on, track tow cable here on the side.
Your exhaust. These look like two parts. Is that right?
Yeah, there are 2 parts that I have to sand. So there's a bit of work on the if you want to use these exhausts, they have these one piece exhausts that don't have the shrouds on them. That are very nice, and
Yeah.
you can use those out of the box. So they're easy to clean up. They have the solid bottoms. So yeah, so it's a great. You know, I really
It looks like a Panther.
it's really come together nicely.
It
And I'm
is.
not. I mean, it's been a few weeks since I started working, but I'm not working. I'm working on this like maybe 30 minutes here and there in the
It's
evening
fun.
with varying degrees of
Yeah.
efficiency, right?
Yeah.
And I'm working, and so
It's great.
it's a great. But if you could hammer this out in a weekend if you wanted to, like easily.
That's great. Looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we'll next time you see this, there'll probably be some primer and some paint on it, and we'll kind of talk about it at that point in time. So so thanks very much for hanging out with us. I appreciate it, and we'll see everyone in the next episode.
You bet.
Take care.